Round everybody up! Twisted Blaze, the ROC. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened it and read it. It said they was bitches. 187. Legs Diamond, anybody killer. Dope Dublin, ICP. A letter to the FBI. Somebody call 911. They gang banging at the mall. A kid 14 and his boys from Omaha. Oh Lord, oh my God, he's on a skateboard. FBI guy up in a tree, snoring. Spying out a juggalo clip for 8 months. Undercover, ain't got nothing. Straight punks, wasting everybody's goddamn time and money. Cause you some old outdated cops, Tubbs and Sonny. Shit headed and nerdy, like it ain't even funny. And the bitch in your ass is like bees to honey. Calling the juggalo a gangbanger, outrageous. Pulling ninjas over, whipping out gauges. And the judge slams down the hammers to the big house. Now for you, gangbanger, if we let this be, we'll be face to face with one man as he dictates the human race. Speak out a line, they coming at a zooming pace. Kick you when you down, boots, 2 to the face. We don't need that, so don't give in now. Fuck the FBI, it's how I'm living. Mr. FBI, Mr. Officer, tell me why you want me in a coffin, sir. Is it because I wear my hatchet tat? Or cause me and my fellas got matching tats? Is it because we like to hang out and be scrubs? Must be thugs out here peddling drugs. But let me tell ya, all that meddling does is makes us wanna leave you embedded in slugs. Free speech, motherfucker, check this out. I want some pussy, or I'ma shoot a cop in the mouth. Bang guts, hang like a wicked video game. It's all the same, it's entertainment, and it ain't for the lame. They can't get us, so they come for those who walk with us. Punish you for representing, make you wanna forget us. That's what we get, cause we ain't corporate, self-made and doing well. So they damn us to hell and degrade us. That's what made us. They say the world hate us. For 20 years I've been getting paid to boss. Call me an old man, I call me long dick paid. Young sweet baby Violent J never gets played.
Tensions high in your America. Goddamn the thought of this, so I walk around with a mouth full of shit, spitting shit in the face of Lady Liberty. Pushing swiftly through these days in a Block 300, looking like I'm straight up out the back cave. Government they now investigate, so I take the windows looking too close. Will get you sketch, no incidental. Residential neighborhoods on high alert for the insane clowns. Anybody killing you get twisted and bound and set ablaze and murdered. Dummy, the codes 187 don't just doubles every second. Who's the weapon? I am the ROC. A house full of skinny jeans, I've kept the debris. I'm a disease and a cure for you sick and healthy MCs. No resurrection from the clique, we gon' stay up underground. Salute, never let them cocksuckers put us on mute. Truth, the booth is a star. I walk the heavens, keep it locked. We gon' rob the solar system of this shit and can't be stopped.
You can't hurt our name, you can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim, we don't bang. I pull a check on you quick, I'm quick to say fuck a bitch. I spit gangster shit, I've been federally indicted. I'm a killer from the west, don't test. Blah, 187, the psychopathic. I come through, shut shit down, no bitch up now. I specialize in moving big dope and letting off rounds. So fuck the FBI, you know why? They took 41 months of my life. That's why I ride or do or die. Hustle worldwide, kick your door and hit you for your guap and back to the west side. No witnesses, a bloody homicide. Cause believe me, when I step, ain't nobody gonna be left alive. The type of gangster that plays for keeps. I'm deep in the streets, I got the bows and birds for damn cheap. So catch me in the old school classic, reppin' the juggalos and everybody down with the hatchet. F is for the fools, B for bringing bullshit. It's my reply, so yes, I feel included. Times really ain't changed, fans they say's the range. Music is the devil and the artist is the brain. Juggalo I roll, underground I stroll. Family is forever, so this family will grow. I'm the FBI, full-blooded Indian, back ready to ride, native pride once again. It's official, I had to go buy a new pistol, just in case I hear the pigs whistle. Pull me over for a fucking purpose, not because you worthless. Feeling like a criminal because I'm spitting verses. Doctors, lawyers, dads and moms, representing Juggalo cause they know it's the bomb. You can't stop psychopathic, the hatchet we jump hurdles. Even if you brought Elvis from the dead as John Burroughs.
Don't blame me, not building a Bradley. It's sad to see you running your mouth and harassing the family. Trying to burn down my tree, cutting off branches like tinder. If you had it your way, we'd be a cinder. You're far from heroic, you can peep the stoic look on my face. Has it changed from disdain to hate? While you're speaking your pulpit, I want to see your pulse spit all over the place till we're covered in all lit. Toxic, no cure or antibiotics. You think we are so sick? We know you're neurotic. A pill of psychotics, the cricket's more chronic. Bitch, you talking all that jazz that's so sonic.
You can't hurt our name, you can't sell our game.
devil. Fuck what they tell you, we some rebels, so they persecute. We don't conform to policies, so they hurt the youth. Cause we free thinking, smoking, tree drinking. They wanna catch us sleeping, we ain't even blinking. Fuck the feds on my life, they some suckers. I really think they mad cause they wives wanna fuck us. The government don't wanna see me on some psycho shit. It's worse than the freeway sniper mixed with Michael Vick. Now they all fucked, wanna catch us in a twist. J. Edgar Hoover, you can suck a motherfucking dick. And we ain't stopping till you take us off the fucking list.
I've been hustling and grinding since I was new to the game. Before the songs and the videos and the screaming the name. Before the diamond crusted hatchet, man, it swung from the chain. And I was green to the business and all the tricks of the trade. Learn to live it like I spit it, it's a family affair. A million painted faces in the crowd with hands in the air. A hint of love is from above and the devil rightly beneath. But the evil stares and shit talking can never compete. They wanna take us out the game and even call it a game. Checking for tattoos and cars, sticking, studying slang. Man, it's amazing how ridiculous the shit has became. Hoping the pride to go away, but ours are strong and the same. It's only greater if anything. The load get heavy, but the goals stay the same. Put the worries in the levy. People tell us every day that we the reason they survive. The true incentive of keeping hope alive. We don't die.
I've been on that fuck the law. Middle finger to them all. Habitual line stepper, a criminal rhyme shredder. Put a gun to your jaw and make the world better. But instead I just shoot with a cheddar. Now I can make you Pearl Jam, and in my waist the Eddie Vedder. Looking for more than a bad rapper. I'm forever like Birdman, baby. I'm so cash and money, and the feds wanna ruin all that. Now that's funny. I put a 5-hole in the 5-0 and I'm liable to emulate the face of a killer for my survival. Flatline your vitals, and I'm dangerous and labeled a psycho. That ain't even the reason they wanna keep us from the mic, no. My freedom of speech is what I would die for. FBI's my lifelong rival. Crosshairs and in the scope of my rifle.
You can't hurt our name. You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang. We're family. You can't hurt our name. You can't sell our game. Fuck you and your claim. We don't bang.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Homestead. There's no days off. No, but you have to have one holy day, Big Bear. Really? So what do I do with all the 10 baby goats I have to feed 3 times every single day? Or all the goats that need to be milked, or the chicken that need to be fed? You get the slaves to do it. That's why it's holy. So that's one reason why I do stream 7 days a week. I work 7 days a week. There's no getting around that. So why not just do the thing I really like also, which is talk about gravy, people who identify as bears. You gotta take one day off for the Lord, Big Bear. Really? Ever raise animals? Let me show you something really cool. So this was always one of my goals. This was our dinner yesterday. Every single part of it was grown and raised right here at Ursa Manor. So we have a chicken that we raised, I fed and raised and watered and protected since it was a little day-old chick. Those potatoes you see there are the color of what potatoes should be, which is purple. We grew the strawberries, the lettuce, all of it. Every aspect of this dinner, the onions, the seasoning, well, not the seasoning, so most of the seasoning, not the salt. Every single aspect of this came from our land. And that was always one of my goals, and we just achieved it. And it tasted unbelievable. I'll never feel bad about slaughtering chickens ever again. It's because you can taste their life. Like they had a very good life. Low stress, high nutrition, protection, good. From the day they first chirped until the day we ate that chicken's life was good. And you can taste it. In the skin, in the meat, it's supple, it's flavorful. You can tell that there was no stress hormones or any hormones or antibiotics or anything in that chicken. And good Lord, is it good. And same with like my wife and I were talking, we don't like lettuce anywhere except for what we grow. Like lettuce has no flavor that you get from supermarket. It's almost like empty texture. It's like cut. When you grow your own lettuce from heritage or what's it called? Posterity? Heritage, heirloom seeds. It's not like lettuce. It's very tasty. It's amazing. And so it's the same with potatoes, you know, those purple potatoes. The real color of carrots is purple, not orange. I love it. And that comes from working 7 days a week. Not only can you not take a day off, for the Lord, you can't take off more than 3 hours. Unless you have slaves. So those are some of the things that I don't understand about some people. It's like, oh, the Sabbath. It's like, are you a banker? Because a homesteader or a farmer, there is no days off. There's parts of the year where you can lay low, like the winter and stuff. You can just throw some hay in there, and some fresh water and stuff. But springtime, summertime, there isn't any days off unless you have slaves. Well, you have your children though, so they don't have a Sabbath. So at what age do you? There's certain things that I find odd. All right, so today's episode is called episode 858, The Truth About Field of Dreams and the Mandela Effect. It's uncomfortable for a lot of truthers. I no longer believe if you build it, they will come. I think it was always if you build it, he will come, and I'm going to do a step-by-step analysis. And I think it's going to trigger the people who think they trigger people. Guys, the odds it was if you build it, they will come, I now believe is 0%. I've watched this movie now 3 times. Oh, and last night I watched a new movie, The Greatest Game or something with, about golf. I really like golf movies. Truthers are annoying. Yeah, I have new opinions about the Mandela Effect. Should we just start with that? Oh, Waynell Sexton revealed and thoughts on golf. All right. And LDBP, thanks, Big Tom Bear. The purple pigment in plants is called, if I remember right. That's very informative. Le Beef. Yeah, I liked it. I like golf movies because it accurately depicts stand-up comedy. I don't play golf because I'm not a sodomite, but stand-up comedy is man versus self. That's why we always had so much camaraderie amongst other comedians. Those days are over, by the way. But it's because you say, good game. Like 2 golfers are playing themselves. That's why they can be side by side, and at the end say, I really enjoyed today. I'll see you next time. It's because you're playing yourself. You know, the more you can get in the flow, the more you can, overcome your demons and overcome your hormone levels, your cortisol, your endorphin addiction, all that stuff, the better you play. And it's exactly like stand-up. It's you, the microphone, and the darkness of the crowd. And truth, and timing, and timbre. It was beautiful. Loved it. Always loved stand-up. And so watching golf movies, it jams me up because I'm seeing my career, you know. Again, I don't play golf because I'm not into butt play with men. But I'm obviously joking. There's some people that play golf that I really respect that are not full-blown, if not partial homosexuals. I don't play with sticks and balls. Larry's not in America. But I think that once they started letting in the trash at the golf clubs, everything went downhill. You have to be able to be prejudicial. You have to say, like this John Daly character, everyone treats him like a hero. Oh, they let in John Daly. He wanted to drink and smoke and swear, and they said, no, not here. And now they broke, and now that staggering drunk is running around the course. And everyone is like, great. I'm like, no. Higher. Well, and I don't care how you monitor. Is it height? Is it IQ? Is it booze? Is it where you're from? What does your dad do for a living? I don't care, but we need more heightened. We can't let everyone everywhere. Guys, the majority of America thinks that George Floyd's teacher was named Waynell Sexton. And then they tell me that, oh, I don't understand black names, especially black male names. And I inform them that Waynell Sexton, Waynell Sexton is a white woman. And they say, oh, that checks out. So I wouldn't want them next to me when I golf, ever. John Daly wanted to ride a car because he's so fat. Yeah, dude, you gotta stop break down the barrier of civilized society. Oh, so you hate, no. I don't want John Daly and his drunk, fat ass golfing next to me. He's a drunk. And if he can't control his appetites, why would I want to? Because golf is man versus self. So if you're in this, you're having this experience, you know, having everything disappear, and you're, you know, really focusing on breathing and staying calm. And then in staggers John Daly, the drunk. He's like, hey, everybody, hey, look at me. I can be here and drunk. And all the little kids are like, oh, I'm going to grow up and be like that guy. And everyone's like, wow, what a hero. I'm like, get out of here. So I enjoy golf movies. He gambled all his money away. I know, and people see him as a hero. They're like, yeah, they finally let in this drunk. And now there's women and trannies and, you know, trans people and dogs and a dog with no penis. Everyone's like, great. I'm really noticing the black feathers now. Yeah. It's everywhere. I can hear the birds are beautiful. Yes. Happy Gilmore was one of the funniest things ever. Yeah, it was definitely really fun. But they shouldn't have let that trash in there. Happy Gilmore had no place in there. And everybody loses when you let in the trash. Especially someone who doesn't even know how to swing a club. Oh, he's innovating. It's about tradition. Right. It's about manners, no matter the background, race, etc. I don't care what your reasoning is. I just want to bring back excluding people. You know, like all these hero stories of like, well, he came from nothing and then he broke down the barriers and now he's just pissing at the 9th hole, and you're like, dude, there's a reason there was barriers. I don't want to go to their golf clubs. If these snooty people wanted to do their snooty thing, it helps everyone that they have that. Because if you say that guy, that British royal, has to golf next to a drunk tranny like John Daly, what's stopping anybody from doing anything? There has to be barriers in this world. Although, I will say this, when it comes to fighting, keep out the trans, keep out all that stuff, but like, victory sports, I want just to see the best against the best. Man versus self sports is about tradition and community. Keep out the tradition. Because they're battling themselves. When it's like a fist fight or something like that, no, I want to see the best 220-pound man against the best 220-pound man. Because that's a better game. Like golf, it's about class. And I don't like golf. Alright, the truth about field dreams and Mandela effect. Should we talk about that? A lot of people, this was the thing that made me think the Mandela effect was real. Is if you build it, they will come. That's how my memory is. If you build it, they will come. And now it's if you build it, he will come. It's always been he. I can go through the plot. The entire plot point paces around he. It couldn't have been So with Kevin Costner's character's first in the cornfield, he said, the voices. He's saying, who? Who will come? And so he thinks it's Shoeless Joe Jackson. And then it's who's pain? And then it's right? And so these more players came after Shoeless Joe came. It was like, my friend come? It had to be he. And then the reason you know it had to be he is at the end, Shoeless Joe repeats it and says, if you build it, he will come, Ray. He says, who? And then he looks over and he sees it's his mom. If it was they the whole time, the movie makes zero sense. It was never they. The reason you think it was they is because the Darth Vader guy, I can't remember his name, James Earl Jones, gives a whole speech about how people all over this country are just waiting for someone to see baseball. It's baseball, right? And they'll come. So in your mind, the last you see all these cars lined up. Your mind, way underneath, says, if you build it, they will come. But at no point in the movie did the boys ever say they, because if the boys said they, none of the plot would have worked at all. And this is going to spiral some through. There's people that now have Mandela effect as their dogma, as part of their cosmology. It couldn't have been that. It had to have been he. Okay, first is in the cornfield. Ooh! And then he figure out and you see him like with the tractor, talking about the mythology of Shoeless Joe Jackson, who this man was, he, singular. Okay, and then it was, who's Pain? And then they go to the PTA meeting and they realize it is the James Earl Jones character. And so he goes on that trip, and then they're at that ballpark and it says, and they realize it was the other ball player who had only played one game. And then at the end, James Earl Jones is at the farm. He gives that speech about, and it's the first time the concept of they ever comes. And they is all the people that want to come see the field. But the clinch of the entire movie is when Ray Liotta's character, Ray Liotta's playing Shoeless Joe Jackson, and he just says, "If you build it, he will come, Ray." And Ray is like, "Who?" And it's his father. Father is not they, it's he. They is a transgender term. Who will come? Jesus Pain. Well, right. So, I love the movie Field of Dreams. I've watched it so many times. I know last night I watched Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf. I enjoyed it. I didn't travel, but it's only if you understand, some of the relationships between the characters. You see some real dark stuff, but in general, it's a very family-friendly movie. No sex, no violence, underdog story. It's about tuning out the world to crush a golf. I loved it. My family loved it. But it couldn't have been, it could not have been if you build it, they will come. Your inner mind says they at the very end. If the voice first said, if you build it, they will come. Bear in mind, this was the Mandela effect that got me crazy. Because I was like, it had to have been that. Build it, they will come. That's the whole movie. No, the movie paces you the whole time. Plot point. First, Shoeless Joe Jackson. If the voice said, if you build it, they will come, you would not have seen him on his tractor with his daughter Karen explain to her who Shoeless Joe Jackson was, and what his batting average was, and how he didn't wear shoes one day, and all this stuff. And then you see he come out of the cornfield. And then Shoeless Joe invites more players, Ray agrees, and then you're off to Easton's and then Shoeless Joe informs Ray, because he went through all of these hurdles, because he pursued his dream, he finally gets to play catch with his father in the prime of his life. And his father believes he's in heaven. That's why it has to be this. And guys, I spiraled about this last year. I was like, I know the movie, it's they, it has to be they. And there's Mandela Effect people. This is the irony about this clown world truth movement sometimes. Is there will be people that watch me say that and they go, no, Owen's now a shill. He's taking the download. It couldn't have been they. It had to have been he, or else not one, the plot trajectory, the pacing of he, then them, then he, father. It couldn't have been, it was they. Okay, so if you build it, they will come. And then one guy comes, wouldn't Ray say, where's the rest of them? It could, guys, and then at the end when he says, he, Ray, if you build it, he will come. That plot point is off the table if it's they. Here's BB, let them. The Bible study bear 3.0. When you come back, hang on 1 second. 1 second, where is it? Next time, be Bible study bear 3.3, you're banned for life. Who cares, Owen? I don't know, the guy running this channel, the guy who cares. Why don't you go get your own channel, Bible Study Bear? Next time, it's Bible Study Bear 3.3. Don't do 3.0. I've given specifics. It goes, you get banned once, the next one is 2.0, then 3.3, then 6.6, and then 9/11. This is, you've been here long enough, Bible Study Bear, to know that if you say, who cares, let it go, I care. That's why I titled this, The Truth About Field of Dreams and the Mandela Effect. I'm the one who cares. And if you don't care, you can giddy on up over to the Daily Wire, or Steven Crowder, or CNN, or Joe the Toe Rogan, or Alex Butt Munch Jones, wherever you want to go, it ain't here. And so if you want to come back, it's now Bible Study Bear 3.3. When Shoeless Joe Jackson's character, because this is very important, guys. The Mandela effect, I believe, is about self-hypnosis. It's about your natural mind not understanding pacing. I know when Lewis Joe Jackson turns, I've watched this movie now 3 times recently. When you're a dad, it's all about movies that the whole family can see. When he says, if you build it, he will come, Ray. Imagine if Lewis Joe looks and says, if you build it, they will come, Ray. And Ray says, who? Who's they? And then he turns and it's his dad. It's like, so who else? Is his dad trans? Or is there multiple dads? No, it was always he. If you build it, he will come. Ray thought the whole time that the he was Lewis Joe Jackson, when in reality the whole time it was his father who represents God. The entire movie is about honoring God and finding God through pursuing your truth, which is your dreams, your field of dreams. The way to honor God and to reconnect with God through the memories of your own father is by the field of dreams. That's father. God is not they, God is he. And the Mandela effect, I believe, is happening because people are changing he to they, which is very disrespectful to God the Father, he. And the last shot of all the people coming, you say, if you build it, they will come. Let's watch James Earl Jones' speech. If that's okay with Bible Study Bear 3.0. I mean, this is it, guys. He's already been banned that many times where he's 3.0, and he still doesn't know that if you say something like, why do you care? Let it go, Big Bear. Yeah, they've said that about every single thing I've ever said. This is why with Bible study there, we're going to get to the bottom of it. People are still saying, no, it was they. It couldn't have been they. If it's they, the movie makes no sense. This is why you think they. Because this whole thing implies they.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
They.
You're broke, Ray.
Alright, watch this.
Mosquito
Oh,
protect
God,
for
stop
up to 8
it.
hours,
No
so
one
you
cares.
can keep moving
You're on
and going.
screen.
Off.
Off. Get off my screen. Now watch this. Oh, God, not more commercials. Yes, skip. Here we go. Watch this. Tell me how this could possibly make sense as day. Why are you smiling?
Bye.
What?
You grinning at ghost? You build it. He will come.
at Day.
He's got his whole life in front of him, and I'm not even a glint in his eye.
Wow, look at Day. He's so young.
Why don't you introduce him to his granddaughter?
Yeah, 1 second. Someone just said, this guy's, just hang on a second. Yeah, I love this stuff. I know I'm just a random dude, but I'm a true bear at 1.0 and hope that shows I'm being honest that it was Day. Totally. Now your comeback is 2.0. No, you can't handle the truth. No, it couldn't have been Day. You're not bringing anything to the table. What you're doing is you're appealing to status. You're saying, I was with you. I've given you money. Dude, no. How could that moment have been They? If you don't bring truth to the table, you ain't allowed to speak here. 2.0, whoever you were. And this isn't anger. This is training. If you want to be a better person, if you want to interact in this world, this brave new world we're all experiencing, you can't appeal to your status like you used to. Listen, Bears, I'm Bear 1.0. I've been here since the beginning. It was They. Well, right now you're doing what we all hate, which is appealing to expert or status or degrees or money. Now you come back as 2.0. If you had said it has to have been They because of this plot point, it couldn't have been They. He, Ray, who's he? Him, your dad. Him, he, his, he, him. How about They? No, it couldn't. The whole time it was my father. Who, They? Yes, he's trans. He's now a woman. There's no They, guys. You said They in your head because of James Earl Jones' speech. A lot of the Mandela effect is because people don't want to give up their autonomy. They don't want to admit that they can be this tricked. When James Earl Jones said, they will come, Ray, they will come, over and over again, in your mind you hear They, and then add about 10 years of commercials saying They, and now you think it's They. It couldn't have been They. He. Who's he? So you're saying if you think if you build it, they will come with the whole thing, then that means the entire movie was about, it has nothing to do with his dad, has nothing to do with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Really? You think all of that was reworked? It was all dubbed? That their mouth was redone? That it's all fantasy? No, it's always been he. It has to have been he. If you think it was They, you bring an argument here. You don't just say, I'm an old school bear. I've been here since Owen was ranting about Jews. That doesn't mean anything. Come back when you grow. It costs $3. If you can't pay $3 to grow as a person, then I don't care. Then go to the Daily Wire. They just giddy on up. Just giddy on up. Get. C-3PO never had a silver leg. It doesn't. I'm focused on one thing. This has been my journey. My journey with Mandela Effect is based around Field of Dreams. If you want to jump around and just say, oh, silver leg, I've been there. I've been that guy. I get it. My whole Mandela Effect journey has been based around Field of Dreams. Because in my mind, I was 100% sure that it was if you build it, they will come. If you can't address what I'm talking about right now without jumping to another Mandela Effect, it means you don't actually believe it. It means you're scared that you have to rethink your worldview, that it isn't a weird computer glitchy game that keeps changing all the time. If you build it, it will come, is what they said. There's no way it was They without changing the plot of the entire movie. I can explain how, just like with I Can't Breathe and stuff like that, how hypnotists will use the audience or the people to come up with a line in their head without even realizing it. So if you build it, they will square it. There you go. You can be funny about it. But don't ever come here and say, I was with you, so now you have to agree with me. It's like, dude, I'm so sick of people that are so weak that they appeal to their own authority and just say, just trust me. Just trust me. Why? Because it's too painful for me to rethink the worldview that maybe this isn't all fluid. Maybe there is a reality here. Maybe the whole time they said, if you build it, he will come. And you put They in your head and you didn't even realize it. And now you have to readjust. So when you watched it last night, it say They. No, obviously it says he. It can't say They. And if you aren't intellectually capable of understanding what I'm saying, you don't belong here in the chat. You can listen to my stream, you can share it, you can download it, you can enjoy it. The one thing I don't want you to do is talk. Because if you can't intellectually understand what I'm saying, there is a group of people that can't. Where I'm showing you the pacing of a plot. Okay. When the voice said if you build it, he will come. If the voice said if you build it, they will come, the plot doesn't start. Who is they? Is it a group of people? No, Shoeless Joe Jackson. Then more came. Then Shoeless Joe Jackson re-loops back and smiling and says, if you build it, he will come, Ray. And Ray says, I thought that was you, pretty much. Why are you smiling, you old ghost? He's like, it was your father. And then he realized it was him, too. It was the connection between him and God. He was his father in his prime and himself. And then people will still say it has to be they. It has to be they. Why? Because you now have dogma of the Mandela effect. If you give that up, it causes you pain. And so that's fine with me. That's fine. You can be a member, you can listen, you can hang, but you can't talk here. Your ability to talk in this chat, and it's not because I'm scared of your truth, it's because you don't have the intellectual capability of understanding what I'm saying. What if his dad showed up throwing 102 miles per hour off the bump and said, try to hit this, you little bitch? Hilarious. Still growing with BB every day, love it, grateful for it. Yeah, me too. And again, if you immediately jump to, oh, so no Mandela's real? I'm telling you, one Mandela that is not Mandela. Now, if you want to just jump around and really quickly just list 1,000 more, this took me almost a year to crack. Because just like my classical piano ability or my ability to do stand-up, I meticulously and slowly work on my craft, work on my skill. Oh, he said craft, that's free, mate. My skill set, my craft, my art. It takes time, it takes patience. And so I can show you without question that it could not have been they, or else the movie would not have the plot it did. So you think that there's a Mandela effect that when you first saw Field of Dreams, it was not about his dad? It was not about healing. It was not about God. It was not about Shoeless Joe Jackson. It was about a group of baseball players the whole time. And so, again, right now you're feeling some pain, but we're going to grow as a group overall. Now I'm about to get back to some funny stuff. How was Switzerland on this one? Makes total sense in regard to the movie plot. It couldn't have been they. A man without a craft is not a man yet. Exactly. The original voice says he. Right. So there's people that think that the entire nature of reality shifted. I was one of these people who thought that every VHS tape and every DVD and everything was magically changed to he when it was originally they. It couldn't have been they. In my mind, it was they. In my memory, it was they. I'm not a shill. I'm not taking the upload. I'm showing you how the plot of the story could not have worked at all if it was they. And so now if you want to tune me out and say, oh, he's a shill, he's covering the burglars who changed out my VHS tape, go right ahead. But my theory is way more logical. That your mind starts creating a voice that you don't recognize until you say it back to yourself. They. And this was the biggest Mandela effect for me. The biggest one. And so, R2-D2's or C-3PO's leg or any of that stuff, I don't know. I remember being all gold. I don't remember silver leg. I remember Luke, I'm your father. Dude, I get it. Clarice, you know, all that. I get it. But this was the one that was so powerful for me that I questioned the nature of reality itself. It's not their pain, it's he's his pain. He's his pain. Go to the reconnect to God. God is not they, God is he. It can't be they. He, Shoeless Joe Jackson, he, his father, he, God. They was only the group that was coming to be blessed by the waters of truth. Literally the entire James Earl Jones speech is about baptism. They will come like innocent children, and they will bathe in the waters. It was all, God can't be they. Can't be they. Alright, let's get to some funny stuff. Somewhere in my mind I remember silver, I think. I remember gold. I remember only gold C-3PO. And I don't know. The whole thing, it's taken a year. The reason sometimes people think I'm really brilliant is because of the time I put into one thought. Like, I don't just jump around. What about C-3PO? I'm not, like, I think some people have drug problems. Or maybe it's, I don't know what it is, but they're just like, speaking of, this is pretty funny, somebody made this meme about, what's the dude's name? Jordan Peterson. Based on what we were joking about yesterday. He's like, I don't want to steal your bike, but I will steal your copper pipes. I think the way to really unify this country is to make a copper pipe bike. Because then whites and blacks will want to steal it equally. Good job, Day Walker Bear. Very funny. The rest of this is going to be funny, by the way. I don't mean to ruin your worldview that maybe the world isn't fluid. But it was never if you build it, they will come, and I will stand firm on that. Just like I originally stood firm, because my original instinct was that it was they, and I was like, it has to have been they. Mandela effect is real. It has to have been they. It couldn't have been they. And this has been my journey in the Mandela effect, and I suggest you guys all do it. Like, I cannot imagine that dude's last name was Columbu. Franco Columbi makes no sense to me. But I haven't been on that journey. Like, it was Franco Columbo, not Franco Columbu. I know, dude, I know. I'm not rejecting the Mandela effect as a phenomenon in your mind. But the fact that Mandela effect has become a sacred cow in the truth community, I'm going to slaughter it when I realize that there's some nonsense going on in it. Alright. Barack Obama. I know, I don't see 3PO's leg was originally a bike. It's hilarious. That's why we do Nelson Mandela and stuff. It's like, just make a joke out of it. I don't understand how this all works. All I can tell you about is one movie. Maybe you remember the IMD link where it said Columbo? Yes, of course. I understand how all this works. I can show you 50 things that say if you build it, they will come, and commercials, and they call it residue and all this stuff. I know, dude, I've been on this journey for a year. When you really are honest with yourself and you're not doing dogma, don't replace one dogma for another dogma. It couldn't have been. I've developed an emotional connection with that movie Field of Dreams. It's beautiful. It resonates with me on a profound level. It had to have been he. It couldn't have been they. And really take the time to look at the artistry and the beauty of the movie and just know that if you build it, they will come. Who? All the people at the end. But you only know that after the Darth Vader guy does a big speech. It has nothing to do with your father. I mean, come on. Do some jackasses try to get banned? No, they can't help themselves, but they can learn. I'm really hoping that Bible Study Bear 3.3 comes back with a better attitude. And he knows to never. And just these little, guys, it's $3. $3. Guys, that's half a beer in most of your sodomite city squares. It's like any disincentive helps. So if that helps people learn that you should never say to me, why do you care, move on, then great. He's already back, good. Just always know that if I care about something, never ever say, why do you care, just let it go. Because that's every single thing I talk about, you could say that. Every single thing. Like, remember when I was just going on and on about UFC being gay? Oh, I didn't put up that cartoon yet. All right, like, for example, I have something to announce. Some very personal matters that's going on in my family right now. I wasn't going to announce this, but, yeah. My dog, George. A lot of people don't know this about George, but his full name is George Floyd Smith. George, we call him George. His name's George Floyd Smith. Ever since this disaster, he's went a little nuts. He changed his name to Francisco George. And he believes he's canine fluid. He's trying to get away from his original name, George Floyd, as much as he possibly can. He's now wearing flamboyant scarves. Because another problem with George Floyd, and his name is still George Floyd, it's not Francisco George. This will all pass. This too will pass, George. Because he has Freemasonic eyes, as you can see, it's the checkerboard. He has a black eye and a white eye. He feels a lot of pressure. He feels a lot of pressure to change his name, and he's gone a little crazy. Here, as you can see, it's a picture of Francisco George, is what he's called now. He doesn't even know what fluid means. He doesn't know what gender means. He just repeats what he sees on his smartphone. It has been taken away. Francisco George is named George Floyd, but this will pass, George. It's just called a media cycle. pass. All right. Black Lives Matter. You know, I did a whole sketch about that like a year and a half ago. It's hilarious. All right. This is fairly interesting. This is funny, but wrong. I'll explain. If you still don't understand how racism works, remember, you broke into their house and you see Forrest and the three bears and is that Goldilocks? Goldilocks and three bears. Really funny, but true though. And I'll explain. You can look at the same thing. Like if you're looking through a lens of racial discrimination, you see black and brown bears and a white girl, right? You could just essentially look at this and see men and women. Where it's like, okay, the cop's always going to listen to the woman instead of the man. I look at this with size. That's heightism. I've been zip-tied by police before, doing nothing. They let me go, it's all good. But they always go after the big, large, giants. What do you see about the, like, if you threw a polar bear, black bear, brown bear, they'd all be zip-tied because they're bigger than her, that little Karen. So this meme, it's funny, but it's not true at all. There's nothing profound about it. It's definitely funny. I laughed when I first saw it. When it says, that's how racism works. You see Goldilocks and the three bears. It's like, she broke into their house. But, look at it from different lenses. What else do you notice about the bears? They're all male. She's a woman. What else do you notice about the bears? They're all big. She's small. So, it doesn't matter. It's all... The whole reason this is all happening, guys, is because they're trying to institute a nationalized police force. Just like they did with schools, Common Core. They want Common Core police. They're sick of these base sheriffs standing up for gun rights and all this stuff. It's going to backfire. It's a terrible idea. The left and the right are not against each other when it comes to some of these mass agendas. So just know that. So what they're defunding police departments. They're creating all this chaos, and Obama is now saying, you know, we have to rethink police. In what way? You know, nationalize it. No more of these, you know, local police departments. You know, we're going to make it a bigger scale, and then, you know, roll it out to the globe. It doesn't work. It's just like, so again, don't ever feel fear with this stuff. They're a bunch of jokers. There's a lot of people that want to live in that world. If you don't, it's very easy. They don't want to have to deal with it. Listen, I get to eat my own food that I raised on my own land. I raised that chicken, all the veggies, all the potatoes. Monsanto doesn't affect me. Public school doesn't affect me. We homeschool our kids. I'm making nice. It's hard-ass work, but it's worth it. There's people that don't want to put in any work. They don't want to protect themselves with a gun. They don't want to kill their own food. They don't want to raise their own food. They don't want to work hours every day for their food. So, daddy government, daddy, come on, daddy. Why don't you take care of me, daddy? So they're just trying to make it as efficient as possible for daddy. Daddy don't hate you. Daddy's just trying to get you to shut up. And if you don't see them as your daddy, well, it's not a big deal. The little gremlin chicken gasping and wheezing for his mask and begging for the master is the people who want the national police. Right. The national police will be very inefficient. Beyond, guys. Look at public schools. Do they look like they're efficiently doing anything? No. Common Core. We have to all be on the same page. Imagine trying to enforce the laws of San Francisco and the mountains of Idaho. Do you see that working? Of course not. It's leading to the decentralization. There will be a group of people that need it. Need it. Damn, BB delivers the gravy. Right. I do deliver the gravy. This is what's happening. There's a group of people that want daddy to wipe their ass until they're dead. And I had a hilarious conversation with Nick. Highlights. He said something really funny. But, we're talking about, Tom Arnold posted, Second Amendment is for everyone, including black men and long guns, but it's fucking time for us white liberal men to stand up for our brothers and sisters. Borrow our dad's hunting rifles and go nose to nose with Trump's gang of misfit tools. Let's go, Rob Reiner. And I wrote, he can always try. They're obsessed with dicks. When he says long rifle, he means dicks. And I posted some memes about rural America, we're coming. It's saying, hey, rural America, we're coming. And it's a bunch of pigs. And it says, rural Americans, quote, do you know a hog will devour your entire human body? All right. So I wrote, dude, I raised and killed my food. All Tom Arnold knows about life and death is what squirts out of his little dick. Borrow our dad's hunting rifles. He also going to borrow hundreds of hours of range training and night vision goggles. The good news is most capable people view Hollywood celebrities as children who eat too much sugar. Not even worth killing and dealing with blood. There's no left and right when it comes to these things. This entire thing is to create a nationalized police force. If people don't see that by now, they probably never will, and they will just run around warping in the streets until they end up dead or in jail. They always use black criminal for police brutality narrative, by the way. Water has to be muddy or people would actually call for positive actions for their life. The right, quote unquote, is trying to defend constitutional enforcement, and the left is trying to defend people at the bottom of the system from exploitation. These events split and compromise both groups so perfectly that people actively call for self-destruction. I recommend you start a homestead and let Tom Arnold drown in his own cum and blood. And Nick just wrote, Jesus, dude, I was just gonna say grab a vodka soda. Oh my God, that's so funny. So I wrote this long thing about, I said, by the way, famine's coming, not being a dick or intense, but the supply chains are broken and the deplorables who feed all the cities were ordered to kill and burn all their own food. There's a delay before it hits the stores, but it's coming. Food will still be available, but it's gonna crush poor people and the quality will drop. This is just the beginning of the demolition of cities and the American standard of living. Also, the police are currently being defunded, and he wrote, okay, so a double vodka soda? And I wrote, I genuinely laughed out loud, I miss you, bro. If you ever need a homestead to crash at, you're always welcome, but we have a strict no rollerblading policy. And then we just had a really funny conversation. That dude's funny, man. That dude's funny. We're just like, Jesus, I was just thinking have a vodka soda. I go on, this is what I always do with my Hollywood friends. I go on these long rants and they always just write like, what? I'm like, okay, right now the left-right paradigm is being used and I'm like, supply chain's failing. What they're trying to do is nationalize the police force. Doesn't matter, all you have to do is reject the vaccine. And they're like, oh man. I'm like, the good news is, it really only affects, and then I told the story of like, when it's like vodka, and then I was like, vodka soda isn't gonna help all the small businesses that got burned down. And then I just went on and on. I'm like, they have overhead, they have children, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, triple vodka soda? Because, you know, me and him have different lives, different worldviews, all that stuff, but you can always get along, you know? And I even wrote him, I was like, dude, because he's like kind of environmentalist. Like, he's totally LA, but totally good guy. Very wonderful person. And I was like, dude, I have like a negative carbon footprint. I'm like, whatever that even means. I said, all my food comes from like within 2 acres of where I'm standing. I pump my own water, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, but everybody calls me this bad man. And he just wrote, ha ha. And I'm like, yeah, some people don't wanna have like some of these intense combos, but I always think I'm helping my buddies when I'm like, okay, so this is what's coming. And then I do this long thing. And then they're always like, WTF? They like watery gravy. Yeah, they like their exactly, dude. These people, they're not evil. They just like their gravy really watered down. Like if I was just to say like, yeah, I mean, maybe there might be, you know, you ever think about how hard it's going to be to get food? I don't even know how to slowly do a gravy drip. Like sometimes I can do a gravy, like I can pace and do a gravy drip, but I'd rather just get out the info where it's like, this is the info. So they're trying to, because that's what's happening. That's why the George Floyd type stories are always muddy waters, because the right is always like, we have to have people that defend our